shores and woodlands of the north, it's history of copper mines and iron ore, the Great Lakes fishery. To the farmlands of the southern counties we'll look around, my friend, and all that waits the sportsman in the state of Michigan. And sometimes when the moon brings out the diamonds in the snow, and the stillness of the forest lies encased in Arctic cold, the wind might whisper through the trees, listen if you can, it tells you of their beauty in the state of Michigan.
Hi there, come on in. It is Thursday night, September 4th, 2003. Hunting season has already started in Michigan with the early goose opener on September 1st. In 11 days, the general small game season opens, and we'll still have a lot of salmon fishing coming up in September. I'll be covering these activities in the Michigan Guides Report. I'm Zachary Trost.
And I'm Fred Trost, the guy who's forever tinkering with the format of this show, trying to make it better, faster paced, more entertaining, more exciting. We're going to more of a Michigan orientation, which is why I changed the theme music back to something more familiar and modified the title of the show. So you stay tuned for a fast-paced half hour of outdoor news and information for the practical sportsman's Michigan.
There's an interesting article on page 7 about the spread of West Nile virus, especially to bird populations around the country. I'll just highlight some of the facts this article brought out. There was no West Nile virus in the Western Hemisphere until 1999, when the first case appeared in New York City. That year, 62 human cases were discovered, all in a 50-mile circle around New York City. During the next 2 years, the disease spread and made it to Michigan. By 2002, West Nile was found as far west as Saskatchewan, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, and New Mexico. A handful of these western states, the ones in white on the map, have not reported any human cases, along with Maine and Vermont. The counties with human cases are printed in dark brown. The jump in human cases has been striking, 62 in 1999, down to 21 in 2000, back up to 66 in 2001, then 4,071 cases in 2002. In those 4 years, 274 people have died from West Nile virus in the U.S. Crows are extremely susceptible. Of 6,000 dead crows tested in New York, nearly half had died from West Nile. It also affects blue jays, house finches, and English sparrows. In other bird species, it only has a minimal impact, but in the mammal world, it's particularly deadly to horses. About 1% of the people who contract West Nile die from the disease. That was 264 people in 2002. There is a vaccine that protects horses from West Nile, and wild birds apparently can develop an immunity to the disease. The West Nile numbers from 2003 are not in yet because the numbers can't be tabulated until the end of the summer mosquito season, which has another month or so to go in Michigan.
Well, it's nice to have some reference whenever you do anything. It's, photographic memories are pretty rare and not real accurate. I mean, you can only reproduce something if you have something to reproduce. You can't say, well, this is the way it is, just because you want it to be that way. So yeah, we use reference. The more reference we have, the better off it's going to be. And we're just going to try and reproduce this red ear on this little shell cracker here and see what happens.
Now this has got to be one of the few times that you use a brush.
Yeah, for the most part, you're right, Fred. I try and do as much as I can with an airbrush. However, there's a pretty sharp line here that is tough to get. And, it'll just give it more definition with the hand brush.
Now what color is that? Just fire engine red? Or?
Well, we call it gill red, but it's red.
Gill red.
Gill red.
Oh, he's getting outside of the lines.
Well, I'm getting in underneath the edge so that when you look at it from the back, it'll look right.
And what are you doing there?
Just cleaning it, changing colors, basically. from here, what I'll do is I'll go back to the airbrush now and try and blend some of that in.
Oh, okay. So you're just laying down a basic.
Yeah, because it's just the transition here is, boom, pretty severe. I mean, it's not far off, but I just want to kind of blend it in a little bit.
Good.
Of course, a lot of the color in this fish is subdued because it hasn't been cleared, so they haven't been brought out yet. It's kind of flat looking right now. Once the clear hits it, it'll hopefully look a whole lot shinier anyhow.
The name of this week's featured county, as the story goes, comes from an Indian word which means to pucker. It's an Algonquin Indian word pronounced Chippewa, and the pucker referred to the seams around the bottom of the moccasins that a particular group of Indians wore. The Algonquins called this group people who wear puckered shoes. That group of Indians who wore these moccasins, the Chippewa, became known as the Ojibwa or Chippewa Indians, and that, according to the story, is how the name Chippewa County came about. It's located right here on the northeastern end of Michigan's Upper Peninsula. This county includes the largest freshwater island in the United States, Drummond Island. Two of the Great Lakes border Chippewa County, Lake Superior to the north and Lake Huron to the south. Lakes Huron and Michigan are the same level, and boats freely go from one to the other through the Straits of Mackinac. Lake Superior, however, is 21 feet higher than the other Great Lakes, which is why the Northwest Fur Company constructed the first lock in Canada in 1797. Boats could enter the lock from Lake Huron, the gates would close, water would be pumped in until the boat was 21 feet higher, when it could continue its voyage on to Lake Superior. The Northwest Fur Company lock was destroyed in the War of 1812. In the 1850s, the present-day locks were constructed, which made Chippewa County a center for fur trading. Today, the United States operates 2 locks on the St. Mary's River, and Canada operates 1 lock on their side. The Sioux locks are the largest freshwater locks in the world, and they're also the busiest. The city on the south shore is called the American Sault Ste. Marie, and across the international bridge on the other side of the river is the Canadian Sioux. Over half of its border is Great Lakes shoreline, and within its borders there are lots of lakes and streams, which makes Chippewa County a very productive area for our Michigan Fish and Game Hall of Fame. Featured county in the next Fish and Game Hall of Fame will be Tuscola County.
Darlene Smith from Somerville got a smallmouth bass, Lake George, Chippewa County. Now, Chippewa County's in the east end of the UP, right?
I guess.
You guess? Did you cross any big bridge? When
Yeah,
you were
I
going?
did. Mhm.
Okay, yeah, that was the east end of the UP. This is 21 1/4 inches, 6 pounds. Wow. Pretty cool.
Cool.
You were up there in a bass tournament or what?
No, just with my husband. Well, we were having a tournament.
You were having a tournament between you?
Yeah, he caught them all, and I caught this one.
And which is the biggest? Mm-hmm. Well, that is something else. Is this what you caught it on?
Yes.
Ooh, that's ugly. That is something else. So, but this is sort of a Texas rig, right?
Yes, it is.
So you know about fishing with a Texas rig.
Only what he taught me.
Well, that's pretty neat. So how long you been going up there for these fishing
25
tournaments?
years.
Wow. And does he usually beat you?
Yeah.
But you got it this time. The 25th anniversary, Lake George, Chippewa County. Now you know what kind of smallmouth come out of that lake. That's a beautiful mount. Very good. Darlene Smith from Somerville. That's neat.
This show isn't exactly our new format because we've had to catch up on a lot of Michigan outdoor news headlines, but we are going back to some familiar Michigan music for the theme. A little modification in the title of the show, and where are we going with all this? Well, check out our website and we explain it all there. Get outdoors this weekend if you can, take a kid fishing or camping, and we'll see you right back here next week.